I remember the first time I looked at a compound interest calculator and realized that time was actually more valuable than my salary. I was 22 years old and I didn't have much, but I had a long horizon ahead of me today. I am 27 years old and my portfolio has crossed $135,000. If I never invested another dollar again, this $135,000 would still grow into over $1 million in my lifetime. That is not a guess. It is just a calculation based on normal market returns. But I am not going to stop investing. I am just getting started. I want to show you exactly how I am positioned and why I believe the path to wealth is actually quite boring. Before we break down the numbers, I want to ask you a question. What is your current portfolio balanced? And what is your goal by the time you hit 30? Drop it in the comments, because I truly believe that speaking these numbers out loud makes them more real. I like to keep my investing style very simple and transparent. I document this journey because I want to show that you don't need a hedge fund manager to build a fortune. You just need a plan and the discipline to follow it when the world feels like it is falling apart. Hitting the $100,000 mark was a psychological shift for me. It felt like I finally broke through the gravity of just surviving and entered the orbit of true wealth building. I am not trying to hit $1 million in 3 months or 6 months. I am letting time and the math of the market do the heavy lifting for me. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. It is just a look at my own strategy. Let us look at the math of how $135,000 becomes $1 million. If the market returns 10% a year and we assume inflation is 2%, the real return is about 8%. If I don't put in another cent and just let it sit for 33 years until I am 60, the value would be $1.7 million. That tells me I am going to be a millionaire even if I stop working today. But $1.7 million in 30 years might not be enough to retire comfortably. So we have to look at the variables we can control, which is our monthly contribution. If I invest just $1,000 a month for those 33 years, that $1.7 million becomes $3.46 million. If I can push that to $2,000 a month, the number jumps to $5.2 million. That is the power of the engine. The more fuel you put in early on, the faster the machine runs later. In the past year, I have been investing about $2,500 every single month. At that rate, it would take me about 13 years to hit $1 million portfolio. That means by the time I am 40, I could be done if I wanted to be. But my goal is to hit it even sooner by increasing my income and keeping my expenses exactly where they are. The main takeaway for anyone watching this is that the earlier you start, the less you have to suffer later. A person starting at 20 has to do much less work than someone starting at 30. To reach the same destination, when I see people in their teens or early 20s starting to invest, I know they are winning the game of life. One thing people often miss is that the percentage increase needed for each $100,000 gets smaller. To go from $100,000 to $200,000, your money has to double, but to go from $900,000 to $1 million, you only need an 11% increase. The first $500,000 is the hardest climb you will ever make. It feels slow and it feels like nothing is happening. But once you cross that peak, the momentum starts to pull you down the other side. I noticed this myself when I went from $100,000 to $135,000 in just about 6 months. The market started doing more of the work than my paycheck did. You don't need to take massive risks to get to $1 million. You don't need to find the next penny stock or buy into a hyped up trend. You just need consistency, time, and a way to increase the gap between what you earn and what you spend. If your monthly investment average is slowly going up every year, you are doing a great job. Now let's look at my actual portfolio breakdown so you can see where the money is. My total investments are a little over $135,000. The largest piece of the pie is $98,000 in the SP 500, which I hold through the Vanguard ETF known as VU. That is about 72% of my total portfolio. I love the SP 500 because it represents the 500 largest companies in the country. It is self-cleansing, meaning the losers are kicked out and the winners are added automatically. Next, I have $24,000 in SHD, which is a dividend growth fund. This makes up about 18% of my portfolio and provides a consistent stream of cash flow. Finally, I have about $12,600 in VUG, which is a growth-focused ETF heavily weighted in technology. This is about 9% of my holdings. I used to own individual stocks, but I realized that I was spending too much time analyzing companies. I sold all my individual positions in August and moved everything into these 3 ETFs. Now, when I get paid, the decision of where to put the money is already made. I put some into my 401k and the rest goes straight into VO. If we break it down by account type, my brokerage account is the largest at about $68,000. My Roth IRA is at nearly $40,000 and my 401k is at $26,000. The brokerage will always grow faster because I can put as much as I want into it every year. The Roth IRA has limits, but it is the most valuable account because that growth is entirely tax-free. I plan to max out my Roth IRA the very first week of January in 2026. My 401k is going to get a big boost next year because my company match finally kicks in. That is essentially 100% return on my money before the market even moves. I keep my strategy boring because boring works. The SP 500 is the benchmark that most professional money managers fail to beat over the long term. If they can beat it with all their resources, I am not going to try to beat it with a laptop in my bedroom. The reason VUG is a small part of my portfolio is because I know the market moves in cycles. Tech has been incredible lately, but there were periods like the early 2000s where tech was dead for a decade. By holding VUG, I am automatically positioned in whatever sector is winning at the time. The reason I hold SHD is for the psychological win of the dividend. I get over $200 every quarter just for owning the fund. I reinvest that money immediately so that next quarter the check is even bigger. It also plays defense. When the market drops, dividend-paying value stocks usually drop less than high-growth tech stocks. It keeps me from panicking when I see red on the screen. VUG is there to capture the massive upside when tech is on a bull run. It is a balanced system that allows me to sleep at night. I automate everything so that I don't have to think about it. I am not sitting here wondering if a stock is overvalued or if I should wait for a dip. I just dollar cost average every single paycheck. I don't hold a lot of cash because I want my money working for me as soon as possible. I have an emergency fund, but everything else goes into the market. Waiting for a 20% drop is a loser-esque game because the market could run up 50% while you wait. My strategy for reaching $1 million is built on 3 pillars. The first is a high savings rate. I try to save and invest between 30 and 40% of my take-home pay. This is the engine that drives the whole machine. The second pillar is consistency. I never miss a month of investing no matter what is happening in the news. The third pillar is keeping it boring. I don't look at my accounts every day, and I don't follow the hype. I have a win mindset when it comes to volatility. If the market goes up, my net worth increases, and I am happy. If the market goes down, I get to buy my favorite ETFs at a discount, and I am also happy. Either way, I am winning because I am looking 30 years ahead, not 30 days ahead. When people are fearful, I try to be disciplined. The next $100,000 will be faster than the last because of the math of compounding. My income will also likely increase as I move up in my career. As I earn more, I don't increase my lifestyle, I just increase my contributions. Time multiplies every decision you make today. $100 invested at 25 is worth far more than $100 invested at 45. I am focused on the future, and I am constantly looking for ways to improve the gap. I am not here to brag or show off. I am just a 26-year-old analyst who realized that the math of wealth is accessible to anyone. I want this to motivate you to start your own boring journey. Don't worry about what other people are doing or how much they are making. Just focus on your own progression and your own numbers. Think about where you want to be in 10 years and start building that reality today. I hope this breakdown was helpful for you. If it was, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. I am going to keep documenting this road to $1 million so we can see how it plays out. Take care of yourself and keep your eyes on the long term. I will see you in the next one. Peace.